Okay, as written in the blackboard, Golu grows a nose. Okay, so the full lesson is talking about nose of elephant. Okay, and the elephant is a baby animal, baby elephant, and its nose. You know that elephants don't have the nose; they have trunk. But still, the story is talking about nose. So, what is talking about? What is all about the story? Let's start the story. The story starts with the description of a baby elephant named Golu. Okay? A very beautiful name, a very short and a very pretty name, isn't it? Golu has a bulgy nose. You can see, you have the picture in the book also. Bulgy nose means bulgy nose. G-Y. Okay? Bulgy nose. Bulgy nose means a big nose like this. You can take the idea as a big boot that you wear in lake during the rainfall, isn't it? So, in the rainy season, people generally wear a boot, the black boot, okay? The front part of the boot look similar as this nose, okay? And making the drawing of boots like this, okay? So, this is called that it looks similar like the boot, the front part. It's quite similar with the boot front part. That's why it is called bulgy nose, isn't it? So now let's start the story. The baby animal story, Golu grows a nose. Now I will show you the page of the book, and with that matter and in that matter I will teach you the lesson. So let's start the class. The story name is as written on the blackboard. Okay, and I have already told you about the bulgy nose of a baby elephant, the story's main character Golu, and its bulgy nose look like the front part of a small boot. Okay, now in the story actually what is written that many years before the people before the existence or after the existence of the earth, we know that different kinds of organisms they exist, and thereafter many animals they exist, and among the animals one big elephant also exists, and that big animal has trunk. Okay, but now the story is talking about that very much before the elephants had no trunk. So you can think that this is an imaginative story. It is not a real story. It is not telling you about the real facts. It is talking about a story, a very simple one, just to make you comical, just to make you make fun something. Okay? So in the story, in the first paragraph, it is written that in the story, the main character is Golu, and Golu has also no trunk. Without trunk, how he looks? He looks in a different way as drawn on the blackboard before I have done. Okay? So, let's read bulgy nose. And having the bulgy nose, the Golu is all the time roaming everywhere and also very naughty. Like a baby. He is also a baby. So, he is also doing different kinds of naughty things. Okay? Now, with naughtiness, he is also asking too many silly questions to the elders. What are silly questions? Different questions, as generally a baby asks. When you are also going elder, okay, class 7 you are studying. So, when your sisters, when your little ones ask you different silly questions, what the answer will you give? You don't know what you should give the answer. Why? Because those silly questions have no real answer, no serious answer, isn't it? So when they ask the silly question, we cannot give the real serious one. So here also the same. Golu is asking to aunt, tall uncle. Now I am talking about uncle, auntie. Who are these uncle, auntie? We have uncle and auntie as human beings. But I am talking about elephant. So elephant's uncle, auntie would be animals. So here, tall uncle, big uncle or different kinds of names are given in the story by Golu. Golu is addressing in a different manner to uncle and auntie to the animals. Let's start. What is he asking to the ostrich? So in the story it is written that he asks to tall aunt. Tall aunt. Tall means very big and aunt means some female animal. So now here I think you have noticed that tall aunt is ostrich. And to ostrich, as tall aunt he addressed and he asked one very silly question. Why don't you fly? Read, I am reading the question. Why don't you ever fly like birds? चिड़ियों की तरह तुम उड़ती क्यों नहीं हो? तुम्हारे पंख हैं, you have wings, you can fly. Why don't you? Now ostrich has no answer. Now thereafter he is roaming, he is going wandering in the forest, and then he caught another uncle or aunt. It's tall uncle. Think, who is tall animal? Giraffe. So to giraffe, tall uncle, he asked one question about the skin, about the spots. What the question is? What makes your skin so spotty? Now, what the answer would be of this silly question? Giraffe has no answer. So giraffe has not answered anything, but he get disturbed, he get irritated. Now later on, he asked a huge uncle. Do you know who is that huge uncle? Huge uncle is hippopotamus. So he is huge in its body. That's why he had named him as huge uncle. You also give this type of names to your auntie and uncle? Do you? So like that, Golu is also giving. Now to huge uncle, to hippopotamus, what he asked? Let's see. Why are your eyes always so red? ये आंखें इतनी लाल क्यों होती हैं? अब आप बताओ, आपकी आंखें लाल हैं, ये हमें क्या पता? ये तो बायोलॉजिकल प्रोसेस है, बॉडी से अपने आप होता है. तो इसका आंसर ये ह्यूज अंकल कैसे देंगे? नो आंसर. सो जब एल्डर्स कोई आंसर नहीं दे पाते हैं तो वो थोड़ा सा नाराज हो जाते हैं कि आई हैव नो आंसर. सो लाइक दैट हिप्पोपोटेमस आल्सो गेट इरिटेटेड. In this manner, every day, okay, on a regular basis, he is asking to everyone, and every day, all the parents, all the elders, they get irritated. Now, who is the next attack of Golu? The next attack of Golu is one monkey, and to him, he had addressed as the name is. The question is the baboon. To baboon he had called the name hairy uncle. Hairy, baboon, the monkey, they have too many hairs on its body. So he had named him as hairy uncle. The question is, why do melons taste like melon? What a silly question, no? Melons का स्वाद मेलन क्यों होता है? आपने एक ऐड देखा है ना? चॉकलेट इतनी वो एक चॉकलेट का क्या नाम है? मेलेडी. यस, मेलेडी इतनी चॉकलेटी क्यों है? चॉकलेट है, चॉकलेटी होगी. सो व्हाट अ सिली क्वेश्चन, इजंट इट? सो इन द सेम मैनर, मैंगो का स्वाद मीन्स आम का स्वाद आम जैसा क्यों है? भाई आम है तो आम होगा ना. सो दिस टाइप ऑफ सिली क्वेश्चंस Golu is asking. You will not ask to anyone this type of silly questions, okay? If you ask, then you will get slapped because now you are getting older. But the silly questions will be asked only by the babies, okay? Okay. So now baboon, giraffe, hippopotamus and ostrich. They get too much disturbed with these silly questions every day. Now, one day, Golu asks to the another person. Who is that? Baboon had no answers to Golu's questions. Golu is a naughty baby, they said. He asked such difficult questions. These are difficult questions for elders because they have no answer. If you don't have the answer to your question, that question would be harder, isn't it? So these are difficult questions for elders. One day, Golu made the Maina the bird, and asked another question to that bird. What he had asked? He had asked, what does the crocodile have in dinner? Crocodile रात को क्या खाते हैं? Maina has no answer. So Maina is thinking and he cleverly said the answer. जाओ ना, Limpopo river के वहाँ पे जाओ और खुद ढूंढ लो. Go to the Limpopo river, go to the banks of the great grassy Limpopo river and find out. खुद जाओ, ढूंढ लो, वहाँ पे क्रोकोडाइल्स हैं, वो आपको ज़रूर बता देंगे कि क्या करना है और वो क्या खाते हैं. तो नेक्स्ट पार्ट में देखते हैं क्या होता है. इन द नेक्स्ट वीडियो आई विल टेल यू व्हाट हैड हैपेंड. ओके.